The old stone cottage stood on a windswept cliff overlooking the relentless sea. It was a place of solace for Amelia, a refuge from the world's clamour, the salty air, the cries of gulls, the rhythmic crash of waves against the rocks below. These were the sounds of her sanctuary. Amelia cherished her solitude. The cottage, with its weathered timbers and cosy hearth, embraced her like a faithful companion. The days were long but peaceful. Amelia filled her time with reading, writing, and tending her small garden. She found joy in the simple things: a cup of tea by the fire on a rainy afternoon, the vibrant hues of a sunset over the water, the quiet satisfaction of a day well spent. The isolation never bothered her. It was, in fact, what drew her to this remote corner of the world. Here she could be herself, free from the judgments and expectations of others. A sudden sharp rap on the door startled her. Amelia's heart pounded in her chest. Who would venture out on a night like this? She peered through the window but could see nothing but driving rain and impenetrable darkness. The knock came again, more insistent this time. Amelia hesitated, torn between caution and a growing sense of dread. The insistent knocking echoed through the house, seeming to come from multiple directions at once. It was as if the storm itself were trying to force its way inside. Fear, cold and sharp, pierced through Amelia's calm facade. Her sanctuary, her safe haven, was being invaded. But by what? The knocking ceased abruptly. Silence descended, heavier and more unnerving than the storm's fury. Amelia strained to hear any sound over the wind and rain. Then she heard it. A soft, dragging sound, like footsteps in the gravel outside. The sound moved around the cottage, slow and deliberate. A wave of dizziness washed over Amelia. Her hand trembled as she reached for the poker beside the fireplace, her only defense against the unseen intruder. She crept towards the window, her heart pounding against her ribs. Whatever was out there was toying with her, circling her like a predator stalking its prey. Wasn't prepared to give. Section 7. a desperate escape. Panic seized Amelia. This was no lost hiker. This was something otherworldly, something terrifying. She had to escape. Fumbling for her phone, she realized with a jolt that the storm had knocked out the power. She was trapped, cut off from the outside world. Thinking quickly, Amelia grabbed her car keys, the Land Rover. It was her only chance. As another flash of lightning illuminated the driveway, Amelia saw it. The figure, no longer at the window, was now standing beside her car. It had moved with impossible speed, as if it had simply materialized out of thin air. Section 10. An Unsettling Truth. Amelia closed her eyes, bracing herself for the inevitable, but the attack never came. When she finally dared to open her eyes, the figure was gone. The storm had subsided, the clouds parting to reveal a sliver of moon peeking through. Amelia was alone, or was she? As she limped towards the road, a single muddy footprint on the path caught her eye. It was identical to the one she had seen on her windowsill. But how could that be? The footprint was facing the opposite direction, as if the figure had walked backwards, away from her, into thin air. Amelia stood there trembling in the cold night air, the chilling realization dawning on her. She wasn't alone, and she never would be.